Hey, what's up guys? Star for Hire here, giving you part 2 in my 3-part CTF, I guess how-to or instruction thingy. I'm sorry it didn't start off at the start. My computer is really a piece of crap, and it occasionally has some issues with starting up the recording, so yeah, I missed the first probably minute of this game. But in here I'm running around with a slightly different setup. I'm using the FAMAS. It is silenced because I just don't think I'm not a kind of guy that likes the red dot or anything on it. It's just not for me. So I'm using the FAMAS silenced. I believe I have the spaz on this. And one thing I didn't mention in the last video, which I should have, is I had the AA-12. And I'm pretty sure it's obvious why I had it, and it's because it's a gun that doesn't have the cock action, the pump action, if you want. It's a little more reliable. In the rushing, the AA-12, because you can run around. Even in this position, it would come in handy as well. So that's easily, a gun you can alternate in there. AA-12 is really good for CTF if you're midfield or midfield. If you're support or rushing, AA-12 is probably the best secondary to have. Even though I can't stand using the gun, it is probably the best. I won't deny it. And so what I have here is I'm running different perks. I'm running the typical kill perks because a support character is pretty much a person that pays attention to the radar and is adhering to everything that's going on in the game. Needs communication. He needs to know, because it's the defender's job to go ahead and shout out, "I'm down. He's rushing left. I need some backup." This person has to be in the middle at all times and able to fall back if need be, or go up and cover when they're going for the flag. So this guy has to listen, everybody has to listen to both sides of the chat, the offense and the defense. But this guy's got to be able to mend and merge with it, and if need be, have to decide on which one to go with. And in this game, that of course is going to come down to, I'm using Scavenger, Stopping Power, Ninja. I'm using my typical killing perks, because that's what I like. Now, one thing I did change up is the smoke grenades to the stun grenades. And people are asking why stun grenades. I know you use flashes often, and flashes do come in handy in CTF because there are often explosives around the flag. The reason I'm choosing stuns, and I use it on defense as well, the main reason I do it is not only because it messes with their vision a little bit. It's down to the simple fact that it slows the people down. And if I'm able to slow a person down and cover a guy, that definitely helps out. Because even if I die, this person's slowed down, so he's not going to catch up to the guy that's running, whether or not he has lightweight or marathon on at all. That gives him a second or two head start to get ahead. You know what I mean? So stun grenades are very useful when you are playing a position such as support or defense. So remember that one right there. So now I'm pretty much just I can't necessarily say kill horny, but this is the position I play. I can't say play best, but my favorite position. And in many aspects, a lot of people will agree to it, because in a way, it's pretty much like playing a killing position. And I shouldn't have ran in there. It was a bad mistake on my part. I just didn't expect both of them to spawn in there. And commando is something you often run into in CTF. That's one thing you run into a lot. But basically, the job of support character is to try to stay around the middle area as best as possible, push up when your guys are pushing up, fall back when your guys fall down, and you're basically there as support. Your job is to kill and maintain the spawns. Spawn lock them. Do not let them out with the flag. Do not let them get to the flag. I find many people can do the rushing. Yes, rushing takes a lot of skill. Defense takes a lot of skill. But you have to be a good shot and a good gamer to play the support section. I'm not saying not. It is by far the most interesting and fun position in my mind. And though it started off a little slow in this first round, it gets a little bit better. And sadly enough, the defense game was my favorite. And in this game, I'm using the same setups, which I would suggest to anyone, because it is a team game. The UAV comes in handy a lot. I'm using the UAV, the Predator, and the Harrier. Harrier, of course, gets kills, and it holds some support down, where the Predator does many things, and it's so much more useful in this game. So here, I'm pretty much just maintaining covering. Look right there, he walks by, and he can comfortably do it with me trying to cover him. Unfortunately, he died But I know my guys are coming up, so what I'm going to do instead of grabbing the flag is I'm going to provide support and do that so that they can just go take the flag and cash it in. See right there, he might have died, but I covered that area down to the point that they weren't going to return the damn thing. Now if I would have turned and ran up that, just like you saw, I would have gotten shot in the back. And that's what a support person is. He's not necessarily, you know, inclined to touch the flag and rush out of there. He's got to think and be the support. That's what his job is. So usually he maintains a lot of things, but so a lot of people would disagree with me because he is basically a killer that you should use higher kill streaks. But it goes back to saying that I think CTF is a game type that you should do for wins and to support your team. It is, in my mind, the best game for communications. Now I had a talk with my buddy earlier today, and he was saying he disagreed with me completely, and he feels there shouldn't be, in a 4v4 game, that there should not be support, and I completely disagree with that 100%. He said there should be 2 on attack and 2 on defense, and I don't agree with that at all. I think you should leave somebody that you know on defense. I think unless you're playing 5 or more people, you should never sacrifice the fact to put 2 on defense, ever. Ever. If you've got, you know, and communication is the key. I would take somebody that can communicate and say, oh, I died, and he can get out of here. You know, if you've got 2, for an example, if you've got 1 on rushing, you know, he's the guy that gets the flag, he gets out of there. If he dies, somebody else picks it up, goes with it. You've got 2 on rushing, 1 support, 1 defense. That's 2 on the flag at all times, and that's 1 support. That's the way you should play if you've got somebody you can really trust on defense that knows what they're doing. Good shot, because defense is not a hard type to play. You're pretty much always given the advantage because you're sitting there, you're at home. They have to come to you. So I don't feel that you need to have 2 people sitting back. Yeah, they're not going to get your flag, but you're also leaving 1 guy to get theirs, and that's, you know, it's basically going to come down to a boring game of whoever gets the first and only cap. So it needs to spread out a little more. I think support characters are just as essential as a defender or an attacker, a rusher. And people need to understand this. See, I'm a support right now, but in a way I'm defending right now because they are under pressure and they are respawning. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to carefully judge and pay attention to what's going on, communicating and listening to what's going on. And of course I die a few times. It's okay. I get a couple UAVs, therefore I help the team out. I get a few times where I cover, I support, and I maintain distractions while I'm with them. And at a few points in the game, you'll see where I toss stuns randomly just to, you know, just catch them off guard. In case there is somebody rushing, that would slow them down. And at least make them panic a little more and make them cautious, because grenades like that also make people think. If you get hit by that stun grenade, a lot of people think, oh wait, maybe they're coming to kill me, they're rushing, so I'll sit back. Whereas, you know, that definitely, you know, you'll see over half the time, you hit somebody with a stun grenade, instead they'll sit around the corner and wait for you to come, because they think you're coming in. So this game is a lot to do with mind games and outthinking a lot of people. The genuine reaction to a lot of people would to be stop and watch out. And there you go. So I'm tossing grenades in case anyone spawns. I'm covering them, maintaining the eye on the spawn. I'm paying attention to my guy to the right, so I feel I need to fall back or I need to get into their spawn. Those were my 2 options right there. And I felt, and I'm telling this guy, grab the flag, I'm going to cover you on that. We are communicating. We have this down. And it has pretty much come down to, you know, we're pretty comfortable right now. And I don't mind being a distraction, going in there, dying, and covering a guy to get back. And it turns out pretty well usually. And we were pretty comfortable with the wins in this and everything like that. So pretty much a support character is a person that does kills. Picks up the flag if necessary, but it's also his judgment on whether or not he should do so. Because, you know, you've got to pay attention to your surroundings and listen to your other guys. And it's in your decision making, whether or not it's the smarter idea to fall back and cover and wait for them to respawn, or you advance and lock them so they can't come to you. Unfortunately, a guy was playing for a nuke in this game. I don't like when people do that for CTF, but hey, it happens. So we went out with a bang. It was a fun game. There's some kills involved. I hope you enjoyed it. Next part coming up. Peace out, guys. Get it.